apocrypha that's included in the Bible, and I had to look up what apocryphal meant. And apocrypha were writings that were considered valuable but were of unknown origin. They didn't know who wrote them, but yet they would include them if they thought there was value, or that they corroborated something they believed or served the needs of the church. The church was trying to put forth a belief system that gave them all the power. People could not connect with God except through them. They could not get to heaven except through all the various devices that they came up with. And so John just delved into, Newton delved into how this all came about. And he discovered, Newton discovered a lot of what would have been called illegal manuscripts at the time. And I think John might have been pretty surprised by Newton's theories on Atlantis. There's quite a lot in here about Newton's theories of where Atlantis was and when it existed.
Can you tell us a little bit if you have that information right offhand?
There was a variety of speculations, but most of it, I think, centered around the archipelago around Malta and, in the Mediterranean there, and Cyprus, and, there was a few different ideas about exactly where it was, but I think that around Malta, that Malta was sort of a remnant of where it might have once been. But all of that is pretty speculative. What else? Newton reconstructed the historical timeline. He believed that people had over-exaggerated how long their cultures had been in existence. And, some of them would say, well, yes, in wherever they were, ancient Greece or wherever the example would be, that they would exaggerate how long their culture had been around. It's sort of just to, pump it up in its importance. And Newton did research that he thought gave a more accurate description of a historical timeline. And they go through that in the book too. Newton came up with a end of the world prediction by redoing his timeline and his other reasoning. He predicted that the end of the world, the apocalypse, would happen in the year 2060, and this caused a big, uproar when it was kind of made public, and the media sort of ran with it. And in fact, that's the one important typo that's in the book. I don't have it marked what page it's on, but at a certain point later in the book, they give the year as 2061, and that would be kind of confusing to somebody. So I did let the publisher know about that. But 2060 is Newton's prediction of when the end of the world can be expected, and I think that was a surprise to John. Oh, that's all. No, it's just a revelation.
All right, my special guest tonight is Colleen Heinsohn, and we are discussing the late author John Chambers' book called The Metaphysical World of Isaac Newton. It is available on Amazon.com, and we will have more for you when we return right after this.
Thinking of buying your dream home in Salt Lake City? Now is the time to act. Join us at the Stern team of Lomadar Real Estate. We guide you through every single buying process, ensuring you find the perfect home at the best possible price. We pride ourselves on making the home buying journey as smooth and satisfying as possible. Ready to see what's available? It's simple. Click now to browse our current listings and discover your ideal home in our extensive collection of properties. Don't hesitate. Click now to begin your journey to your new home. Your dream home awaits.
When you've got a lot on your plate, your financial future is the last thing on your mind. Answer a few questions, and Acorns will recommend an expert built portfolio that matches your money goals. Then, Acorns automatically invests your money for you every day, week, or month, whatever works for you. If you can start investing with your own spare change, Acorns is an easy way to invest for your future, while you take care of today. Ready to give your money a chance to grow? Download Acorns now and sign up in just 5 minutes. Investing involves risks, including the loss of principal. Please consider your objectives, risk tolerance, and Acorns fees before investing. Acorns Advisors LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are provided to clients of Acorns by Acorn Securities LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. For more information, visit acorns.com.
Just never share your meds. Learn more at knowyourscript.org. You might think you're being helpful if you share prescriptions, that you're sharing your concern, but what you're really sharing are things you never intended. So number is taking, complication of pregnancy that hasn't even been announced yet, the wrong dosage for the wrong condition. So please share your compassion. Just never share your meds. Learn more at knowyourscript.org.
All right, we are back, and my special guest is Colleen Heinsohn, and we are discussing John Chambers' book, The Metaphysical World of Isaac Newton. Now, let's talk about the Bible. Being that Isaac Newton knew that they were adding things, to the Bible, I'm asking you this question. Does that concern you about the authenticity of Bibles today?
Well, yeah. I mean, not only that, that was at the beginning, and since then there have been numerous translations and changes, and a lot of it was just done to suit the Catholic Church or to suit King James, whatever his personal preferences were and his personal beliefs. So it's gone on for centuries, really. But yeah, in the beginning, there were these writings, and I'm not a scholar of biblical history by any measure, but I do know that the Council of Nicaea was a gathering of the heads, I believe it was the heads of the Catholic Church. I mean, that was the church, except for the Coptic Christians in the Middle East. But and they were arguing about what would be included in the Bible, and I believe it changed over time too. But they were seriously, because they wanted the church to have a lot of power, and they had to They had to have ways to keep certain knowledge, and they wanted it to be set up so that people would depend on them for their salvation and provide a lot of money for the church. The church told that all the riches should belong to God and the church, that the church was God, and that wealth should belong there, and that the people should be poor. And so, you know, when you come up with this complete system of supporting the church, going to confession, getting absolution from a priest, which was the only way you could get forgiveness and salvation, and you had to keep doing this over and over and over again. They come up with a system of indulgences where churches would accumulate relics that they claimed were of saints. Could have been a body part, could have been a piece of wood, a scrap of clothing, a piece of hair, bone, anything that belonged to a saint could be a holy relic, be kept in a reliquary at the church. And people would buy indulgences from that saint, which is in the form of money to the church, and then you would get some time chopped off of your purgatory. They came up with these systems for very specific reasons, and they fought over this viciously. And I know that the Council of Nicaea was one of the places where a lot of this was established.
Mm-hmm. So you would get time off the purgatory that they created.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
Right.
But, you know, those were the times when most people did not read, and a lot of people weren't even allowed to learn how to read. Only priests were allowed to read the Bible. The common people were not allowed to read the Bible. They didn't have Bibles. They didn't have access to that kind of, you know, information. And the idea that you would learn some things on your own and make your own decisions about something was religiously was just not even a concept.
Right. So, all right. So was the church concerned at all about some of these writings that were released by Isaac Newton and his thoughts on what they were doing as far as the Bible was concerned?
Well, they would have been if they knew about them. By his time, you know, the book was pretty much established. So they weren't, I don't think, messing with it a whole lot by then. But he was arguing about very basis of Trinitarianism, and his explorations into alchemy were considered paranormal. You know, they were considered outside the realm of possibility for people, that only God could do those things. So alchemy was like humans trying to play God. They would have burnt him at the stake.
Was Isaac considered an alchemist?
No, not by anybody except his cohorts, who are also alchemists. It was all secret.
When we talk about the prophecies, because that's also in the book, and you talk about how there's, you know, a lot of violence and things going on in the world today. So can you tell me, are these prophecies, is he just referencing them from
2060 was he authored that conclusion. And I don't know if there were other prophecies. I don't remember there being a lot of other prophecies. There might have been some things he talks about leading up to that.
Yeah, leading up to that, that's what I mean. I saw some things about Iraq and, you know, just violence going on in the Middle East and things like that.
Yeah, you know, but a lot of that is just us in the current time kind of looking retrospect, you know, trying to apply his thinking and his predictions to what has gone on, and whether or not it's something that he predicted or prophesied is speculation. But the year 2060, he was very definite about that, and I think it goes in goes into, in the book more about how he came up.
That he may have burned some of his papers before he died.
I don't specifically remember that.
Okay, no worries, no worries. I'm just wondering if he did, and if he did, why did he do that? Okay, so is there a favorite part in the book that you would like to discuss? I mean, is there something that took you by surprise, perhaps?
In 1997, a book came along that aroused worldwide interest in the prophetic books of the Bible. This was called The Bible Code, and by American journalist Michael Grosman, which became a runaway global bestseller. It used computers as a search tool, which accounted for some of its popularity, but it was clear that man's age-old anxiety to know the future was still there, and that anyone who knew how to provoke it could attract a lot of attention and make a lot of money. This is upon the prophecies of Daniel and the apocalypse of St. John. Look, they told the critics, Isaac Newton invented a Bible code. If this towering genius did this, isn't that a good enough reason for taking Michael Drosman's Bible code seriously? So the Bible code is, supposed to be a system for predicting the future. Done with Newton's volume, discovered that the great mathematician's Bible code was so much more complex and sophisticated than Drosman's revelation-inspired computer game text that it put the latter to shame. In fact, Newton's book wasn't a Bible code at all. Working with painstaking care over many years, Newton had used layer upon layer of diverse quasi-scientific methodologies to arrive at his complex conclusion. But while admiring his book, modern-day prophecy mavens decided it was just too much work to get through. Interest in Newton's observations dried up, even as sales of Drosman's Bible code soared. Because Newton, his methods, were so complex mathematically and conceptually that most people just didn't have the wherewithal to work with it and try to figure out, what it all meant.
Why don't you take a moment to tell my listeners where they can find more information about John Chambers?
His publisher is Inner Traditions. InnerTraditions.com has published the Metaphysical World of Isaac Newton, plus the Conversations with Eternity, the book about Victor Hugo's channeling experiences, and a couple of other things about John, and there's a little bit of a biography there. He studied in France. He's born in Nova Scotia, and being a Canadian, he grew up speaking some French, and then went to Paris to study for 3 years, and that's, I believe, when he translated the Victor Hugo book, and continued to be an English and writing professor at the University of Montreal, and then later moved to the United States and married Judy, and really John struggled. He struggled his whole life with his writing because Judy said he was writing all the time in his mind, and he would rewrite and correct and rewrite so much that it was hard for him to get anything finished. He did finish this book, and it's quite an amazing read. There's so much in here, so much about the history of science and the history of religion, and he goes into a lot of things that we haven't even touched on. Well, especially if you have an interest in the history of the Bible and Christianity, and he goes into some history of other religions too, Judaism, and he's got a lot of ideas about these things and talks about things that happened back then that most people just do not know about. And he talks about the book of Revelation, which, evangelicals, and he's saying, they don't really even know who wrote that. And he talks about the corruption of scriptures and the fighting that went on and the Council of Nicaea. He talks about all the illegal manuscripts that were kept suppressed, and that he, in some sometimes got access to. He talks about the theories of Atlantis, and he talks about, in a much more scientific way than you get from just mythology. And he talks about really, where was it, and what happened to it. He talks about some of the alchemy, which is fascinating because this is just a ideal that certain people were trying to achieve through chemical processes and heat and all the things that they did that they had to keep secret. And a lot of what's interesting about this book is how secret this stuff all had to be kept, because the church had so much power over politics, government, business, everything, that they pretty much set the standards for what people could believe and what information people had access to. And so what is really revealed in this book in a lot of depth and with a lot of good background is the things that these people were studying that they had to keep secret. And it's pretty amazing, really, that Isaac Newton, who is still really considered one of the greatest scientists of all time, that he had this other side of his life that was non-scientific and had to do with research and his beliefs and explorations into things that he couldn't explain, like alchemy. And so this whole hidden world that really his family just kept under wraps until 1936, and the only reason they brought it to Sotheby's to be auctioned off was because they needed the money. And there's a website, should have marked it, a Canadian man named Snowbellin started a website where these manuscripts of Newton's are being published. They're being put up on this website. It is a current project. It's called the Newton Project, I believe, the Newton Project, and this man Snowbellin is, as he can get a hold of these documents, because see, when Sotheby's sold Newton's writings, they divided them all up. People bought sections of them, and now, I mean, people have paid many thousands of dollars just for one page of it. Anyway, I'm pretty sure if you Google the Newton Project, that you'd find the web. Sorry, I should have marked that, because that's a place where people can really just look at the real thing. Yeah, the author's name is Snowbellin, Snobelen.
Yeah, it says he's publishing all his stuff online.
Okay, so you did find something.
Yeah, it's the new
Good.
project. I see it. I do see it right here.
Okay, good. And so that's the effort to collect these papers from all the different people who bought them, and they pretty much know who bought them all. And I believe Snowbellin was one of them who bought quite a lot of it. And so then, that's the real thing. Can be looked at right there.
Okay, very good. Colleen, I'll tell you what, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Many blessings to you, and I really appreciate your time.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition. I want to thank my special guest, Colleen Heinsohn, for joining me tonight. Pick up that book called The Metaphysical World of Isaac Newton from Amazon. All right? If you want to find out more about what Colleen was talking about as far as the transcripts are concerned, I'm sure that you can find those on Google. And if you do, please send me the link, okay? We're going to search on our end as well. I want to thank my producer tonight, Kim, and the Mysterious Radio team. I am your host, K-Town. Have a great night, and I will see you next time on Mysterious Radio.
Like the show? Get more Mysterious Radio on our website. And don't forget to visit our Twitter and Facebook page.
Big news from Gunnison Valley Hospital. Our brand new MRI wing is now open and ready to serve you. Experience the future of medical imaging with our brand new MRI machine, featuring cutting-edge technology and unique ambient lighting that creates a calming virtual environment to help you feel more comfortable and relaxed during your scan. Schedule your appointment today by calling 435-528-7246. Advanced care, innovative comfort. Only at Gunnison Valley Hospital.
When you've got a lot on your plate, your financial future is the last thing on your mind. You've got groceries to buy, gas tanks to fill, and your kid just got invited to another birthday party. How are you supposed to find the time or the money to invest? Let Acorns help. Acorns makes it easy to invest for you, your kids, and your retirement all in one app. Answer a few questions, and Acorns will recommend an expert-built portfolio that matches your money goals. Then, Acorns automatically invests your money for you every day, week, or month, whatever works for you. You can even start investing with your own spare change. Acorns is an easy way to invest for your future while you take care of today. Ready to give your money a chance to grow? Download Acorns now and sign up in just 5 minutes. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Please consider your objectives, risk tolerance, and Acorns fees before investing. Acorns Advisors LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are provided to clients of Acorns by Acorn Securities LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. For more information, visit acorns.com.
89% of business leaders say AI is a top priority. But with AI tools popping up everywhere, how do you separate the helpful from the hype? The right choice is crucial, which is why teams at 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies use Grammarly. With over 15 years of experience building responsible, secure AI, Grammarly isn't just another AI communication system. It's how companies like yours increase productivity while keeping data protected and private. Designed to fit the needs of business, Grammarly is backed by a user-first privacy policy and industry-leading security credentials. This means you won't have to worry about the safety of your company information. Grammarly also emphasizes responsible AI, so your company can avoid harmful bias. See why 70,000 teams and 30 million people trust Grammarly at Grammarly.com/enterprise. That's Grammarly.com/enterprise. Grammarly, enterprise-ready AI.
Guests on Mysterious Radio are not to be considered endorsed by sponsors or equity unions. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this podcast without the express written consent of Mysterious Radio is strictly prohibited.
Get ready for a night filled with conspiracies, strange places, the paranormal, UFOs, legends, and myths from around the world. With your hosts, K-Town, on Mysterious Radio.
Hello, everyone. It's night for another edition of Mysterious Radio. I'm your host, K-Town. My special guest is Tracy Dunblazer, and she's here to discuss her book. Is called Conquer Your Karmatic Relationships, Heal Your Spiritual Trauma to Open Your Heart. In this book, Tracy explains to you what karma is, and you'll learn all the ways to reveal, accept, forgive, and transform your connections in every dimension, not only to your soulmate beloveds and romantic entanglements, but how you relate to food, money, family, culture, religion, sex, death, and your environment. Tracy's going to help you unearth the very core of what drives you, showing you how to direct its power into life-giving resources for you and all your relations. So we start off by asking Tracy to tell us a little bit about herself and then why she decided to write the book about karma.
Okay, well, I'm a spiritual empath, and I'm also a certified grief counselor, but I really got into doing specifically grief counseling because of the amount of grief and spiritual trauma that I was born with. I was born what I call as a multi-spirit. So I am multi-spirited. I had many, not only multiple incarnations that I carried imprints of, like the spiritual knowledge of those imprints, but I also carried other spirits with me that I believe have traveled down with me for, hundreds of years, but all at a similar vibration. And it was my goal in this lifetime to reconcile all of that, to find a way to heal myself, my heart, my spirit, my mind, and do it in a way. One of the things that when there are people like me, and there's a lot of us on the planet who are ultra sensitive, but also have we have a lot of cultural trauma in our world. That's one of the lines of karma that's coming up for all of us to heal. And the way we must do that is to deal with it within ourselves first. And that was the birth of the Demon Slayer's Handbook series. Each book I deal with different elements. The first book deals with the spiritual essence, like all the different types of spirits that there are and how we interact with them in this world, all the multiple dimensions. The second one is really focused more on past lives and healing your past lives. And then Conquering Your Karmic Relationships is really about how that translates into our everyday living world. And my goal was not to upset people's own dogma or their own belief systems, but to give them additional things to expand how they think of or how they experience the life that they have.
Now, okay, so you call it multi-spirited. I've never heard the term before. So how did you figure out that you were carrying other spirits with you?
Well, because I had those feelings, those experiences, those reactions. I had that viewpoint, and that viewpoint did not match the culture that I was born in. It didn't match my parents or my relationship to them. I had dreams. My nighttime was really intense, and I also call it, I was demonically challenged because I literally brought a lot of bad spirits with me in order to overcome them. And so I didn't do a lot of sleeping as a child. And, if I had been born in any other situation and any other relationship familially, I would have been called mentally ill. I was very functional during the day, but really, and so I had 3 or 4 different spirits with me, and that really gave me several different lenses to look at the things that I was experiencing in life and the things that I was attracted to and the elements of life that were attractive to me.
Okay, very interesting there. Okay, so let's just start with karma itself. What is karma and what does it mean to you?
Well, so karma is originally, it's a Sanskrit word that literally translates to mean action, or the larger concept of action and reaction. However, it's kind of become a cultural buzzword that we use, especially here in the West, that means punishment and reward. And it's not punishment and reward. Karma is literally the multiple vibrations or patterns that we carry with us into this life that then create, again, what's attracted to us and what we're attracted to. So karma is the patterns that create the foundation of our viewpoint. And at any time, we can do the work to change our viewpoint, our belief system. Everybody starts out with their own truth, and that eventually will give way to the spiritual truth, the one truth that we all connect with that is truthful for all of us, right? That everybody will have their relationship in that. Ways that it supports you, and then changing it in the ways it doesn't support you.
Okay, so I have to come back and ask you let me just ask you now before I forget this. You said something that was interesting. You said karma is what's attracted to us. Is that because...
So let's say I've had multiple different lives living in different cultures. I lived in ancient China. I was a shaman in I was an Ainu, which is an ancient, the tribe was actually where the concept of shamanism was created, but it was several thousand years ago. I also lived as an Egyptian several years ago, and then, several thousands of years ago, and then I also lived as an African slave in America. And then I also had ancestors from those lines of energy that also were with me. So those were the perspectives that I carried when I then came into this life and witnessed it.
I see, okay. So not to confuse people, these are some of your past lives that you're talking about.
That is correct.
All right.
That is correct. So I am as Caucasian as you get in this lifetime. And I grew up in New Mexico, which was in itself very multicultural. But interestingly enough, I was always a little befuddled around my white people. I didn't see myself as them. I didn't see them how they saw me. And when, there's racism in my, I had to confront that even as a very young child. It was devastating to me because I was devastated. They were talking against me, but they didn't know that. Does that make sense to you? So
Yes, I understand. I understand. They're talking against who you were previously in your previous.
Got something on your mind you need to talk about? Forget texting. Just call up a friend so you can hear a voice. It might be old school, but it helps. This healthy suggestion is brought to you by Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Utah. Together we help.
When you've got a lot on your plate, your financial future is the last thing on your mind. You've got groceries to buy, gas tanks to fill, and your kid just got invited to another birthday party. How are you supposed to find the time or the money to invest? Let Acorns help. Acorns makes it easy to invest for you, your kids, and your retirement all in one app. Answer a few questions, and Acorns will recommend an expert-built portfolio that matches your money goals. Then, Acorns automatically invests your money for you every day, week, or month, whatever works for you. You can even start investing with your own spare change. Acorns is an easy way to invest for your future while you take care of today. Ready to give your money a chance to grow? Download Acorns now and sign up in just 5 minutes. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Please consider your objectives, risk tolerance, and Acorns fees before investing. Acorns Advisors LLC is an SEC registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are provided to clients of Acorns by Acorn Securities LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. For more information, visit acorns.com. When you've got a lot on your plate, your financial future is the last thing on your mind. That's why Acorns makes it easy to invest for you, your kids, and your retirement, all in one app. Acorns will recommend an expert-built portfolio that matches your money goals, then automatically invests your money for you. Download Acorns now and give your money a chance to grow. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Please consider your objectives, risk tolerance, and Acorns fees before investing. Acorns Advisors LLC is an SEC registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are provided to clients of Acorns by Acorn Securities LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. For more information, visit acorns.com. When you've got a lot on your plate, your financial future is the last thing on your mind. You've got groceries to buy, gas tanks to fill, and your kid just got invited to another birthday party. How are you supposed to find the time or the money to invest? Let Acorns help. Acorns makes it easy to invest for you, your kids, and your retirement all in one app. Answer a few questions, and Acorns will recommend an expert-built portfolio that matches your money goals. Then Acorns automatically invests your money for you every day, week, or month, whatever works for you. You can even start investing with your own spare change. Acorns is an easy way to invest for your future while you take care of today. Ready to give your money a chance to grow? Download Acorns now and sign up in just 5 minutes. Investing involves risk, including the loss of principal. Please consider your objectives, risk tolerance, and Acorns fees before investing. Acorns Advisors LLC is an SEC registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are provided to clients of Acorns by Acorn Securities LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. For more information, visit acorns.com. When you've got a lot on your plate, your financial
Holy
future is the
shit.
last thing on your mind.
How
That's
many
why-
times are they gonna give that? It's like trying to brainwash me or something. Acorns, acorns, acorns. Yeah, stuff right now. Are you happy? Jeez.
It's called Original Magic. You can pick it up off Amazon, of course. It's available on Kindle and paperback. This book here explores the history, the theory, practice, rituals, and initiation
Everybody
of
loves my
Mazdain
car.
magical system practiced by the people of ancient
Thank
Persia,
you.
who were very skilled and famed
It
for their
matches my
effectiveness, and their
personality.
name came to me what today is called magic. I mean, but think about that for a moment. They were so good at what they did that their name came to mean
That man was
magic.
obviously
That
very
is incredible, and I'm very glad to have him on the show to talk about this further. For those interested in the occult and the history of the occult, this book will no doubt make for some very, very good reading. Alright, so let's just bring it on out. Here now is my special guest, Dr. Stephen Flowers, to discuss his book called Original Magic. Alright, my special guest tonight is author and researcher Dr. Stephen Flowers, and we are discussing his book called Original Magic, The Rituals and Initiations of Persian Magi. And Stephen, I want to thank you very much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate your time.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Before we get into your book here, and it is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and I will have the links for that in the show notes. But Stephen, why don't you take a moment to tell my listeners a little more about yourself and what inspired the writing of this particular book?
Well, I have a background in medieval studies. That's my PhD is in medieval studies. I'm a specialist really in Germanic.
Give me. We'll be back on in like 20 minutes.